the deficit reduction panel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's only a week left for them to get their act together. It doesn't look like they're going to get their act together, right? It looks like see, here's what's going on. They need to cut $1.2 trillion out of the budget over the next 10 years. What they're trying to do now is they're both sides are trying to find a way to not do this deal. They're trying to figure out a way, how can we cut social services and not raise taxes? So the Republicans came out with an idea. What we're going to do is get rid of all the tax loopholes that will help us raise revenues, right? $300 billion.
$300 billion.
Yeah, that's what they say. But at the same time, they're going to reduce the top tax rate down to 28%. So that's their trade-off. Well, okay, but
it sounds great on the surface that we're going to reduce taxes. Finally, you hear Republicans talking about reducing taxes.
No, raising taxes.
About raising taxes. I'm saying what they're trying to do is raise that tax revenue, $300 billion tax revenue. But so you think, oh my God, the Republicans are actually going to compromise here. But then inquiring minds want to know. They go around the back and they say, well, we're going to raise that, but we're going to lower.
We're going to lower the tax rates. Actually,
here,
we're actually going to cut them by 7%, the tax rates. So, which is what they're going to do, right?
Yeah, well, okay. that's the plan, and that's why the Democrats are saying, no, we can't do this. We cannot do this.
But Barack Obama says, you guys better do it. Because if you don't do it, I'm not going to sign on to any legislation that skirts this agreement. Because if they don't come to an agreement, the cuts go in 50-50 defense and social programs, right? Yeah. And that's so. But he doesn't. Barack Obama said that he's not going to sign legislation that says, oh, we're not going to raise taxes. So this is what I predicted would happen. What I predicted what was going to happen was the Democrats are going to concede to all the cuts in Social Security, even though Social Security doesn't have anything to do with the deficit. Right. They're going to go ahead and cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, right? With a promise to raise taxes at a later time, which will never happen.
So do you think the super committee is bullshit?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. Bullshit. I agree it's bullshit. I agree that the super committee is bullshit.
So the super committee...
I was going to get to that about the credit agencies. So what do you do about these credit agencies then? Okay, so the president stands... Okay, but it is an actual fact that these credit agencies are criminals, right? A lot of them, and have a disproportionate amount of sway on our economy. Okay,
yes.
You know that, and whether they're criminals or not. Let's say they are the finest, most upstanding people in this country for a moment. Okay, let's stretch our imaginations to say that. They still have too much sway over the way we run our economy, and whether you're a senator or a congressperson, or whether you're president of the United States, to have to be on your knees to the credit agencies. I
agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. What change? How do you change that?
When the banks crash again, no one will care because it's going to happen again. So like all this stuff, no one's going to care about our credit rating. When Greece defaults, no one's going to care about our credit.
How's Greece going to default? Well, they have an economist there as president. How's Italy going to default? They have their finance minister as president.
So let's look what just happened, right? So the Greeks got rid of the guy who wanted to put it to a vote, right? Hey, well, if we're going to cut these people, maybe we should have democracy happen here. As soon as that happened, they got to get rid of him. And who did they replace him with? A banker. They replaced him with a banker. And who took over in Italy? The head of the finance. So the banks are running everything. We're running scared from the credit agencies, which are completely corrupt. And Barack Obama should be investigating them and putting them in jail. He said, you want to lower, if I was the president, you want to play hardball? You want to lower my credit rating? We're going to investigate you and put you all in jail. How about that? Because you're all corrupt. How about play a little, but he's not, he's one of them, Michael. Barack Obama is one of them. He's
one
not
of who?
With
He's
us.
one of the bankers,
yes.
Or he's one of the credit agencies?
He's with them.
Okay.
He's with them.
It's hard to disagree. It's hard to disagree with you that he is with them. I just don't know that his with themness means that he still can't be reasonable about this. I think that you can be with them because they are with you to a degree. Certainly, when you look at the financing of campaigns. But by the same token, say, listen, we are not touching any of these entitlements. We're not touching them at all. If the Republicans and the conservatives can have their sacred cows in the military, if they can have their sacred cows in keeping those tax breaks for rich people, then why can't we have sacred cows? Why is he allowing the sacred cows to be killed?
Because he is one of them. And he's made it clear he's not a true liberal.
I think that's too easy an answer.
He doesn't believe in the New Deal. He doesn't believe in FDR, the New Deal. He's one of them.
I'm not sure. I think he's a president, and he's got to be the president to a lot of people, and that's what makes this problematic for him. I think it's too easy an answer to say he's one of them. Let's say he's one of them. He's also a president who is
if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, but I don't think it.
Timothy Geithner, Larry Summers. Now the guy from fucking GE. Are you shitting me?
I love
How
that.
many times do you have to get hit over the head before you realize who's fucking hitting you? It's Barack Obama, corporations, and the big banks, and they're all fucking together, and they're screwing you, and they're going to keep screwing you. It's over. It's going to keep happening.
Who's their candidate for president?
And when there's another crash, which is going to happen, then it's all. Then you think they're firing teachers now? You know what I mean? We got to get rid of teachers, and Barack Obama says teachers' pay should be tied to their performance. He's of peace. He's not good for this country, Barack Obama.
Who is your candidate? You alluded to it earlier.
Ralph Nader?
Ralph Nader.
If he, you know what I mean? Anybody who's not beholden to the banks.
But he's not running for president right now.
No.
Okay, so if you go to the ballot box on November 6th of next year, and you see Barack Obama's name clearly is going to be one of them, and then I'll give you any of the 8 names to stick in there that we know are running for president right now, and those are the only 2 names, except there'll be a libertarian candidate, there'll be a green candidate.
I'll vote for anybody but Barack Obama.
Anybody but Barack Obama.
Yeah, because he neutralizes the left organizing against these bullshit policies. If we had a Republican in there, we couldn't then organize against them, but he neutralizes us.
But organizing against them elected a president who was able to at least be a stalwart against a lot of their social agenda. And I think that, if whoever you vote for there, if it's one of those other 8 people, let's say it's the Republican that you vote for against Obama, that person's probably going to have to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat, maybe fill a Supreme Court seat. And so
in the midst of a banking meltdown again.
In the midst, perhaps, of a banking meltdown. I mean, that if you're predicting a banking meltdown, so I think that there's, where do you draw the line? Where do you say that this? Where do you look at a president for who they are, rather than who they are not? And I may have not asked that question properly, but I look at Barack Obama, not totally satisfied with him, but I'm so happy he's not John McCain. I'm so happy John McCain didn't have 2 vacancies to fill on the Supreme Court. I'm so happy that John McCain didn't have to deal with going at helping the auto industry out. I'm so happy that John McCain wasn't there to do so many of the things that this president has done. I'm not saying that McCain wouldn't have done things differently, and in some cases perhaps better. I can't think of what, but I am happy about the things that Barack Obama is not. And if he's reelected president, while I'm not totally happy about who he is, I'm going to be happy about who he's not.
And it seems like that's what they're counting on. They're counting on you feeling that way. That's what the banks are counting on. That's what they're counting on. Hey, we'll throw out a real crazy motherfucker, and then we'll have a guy who seems reasonable, who is our puppet 100%. And then you'll go, hey, he's not as crazy. He doesn't want to kill baby. He doesn't want to put gays in prison. So maybe we'll keep this guy. You know what I mean?
But I don't know. Listen. I guess there are two different ways of approaching it, and it's funny. I don't disagree with very much of what you are saying, other than your approach to solving it, I guess.
It really, we would not. Remember when George Bush tried to cut Social Security or privatize it a little?
I do, yeah.
I mean, he was getting everything he wanted. He got 2 wars.
Except that backfired on him completely, though.
Because we could organize against him.
Well, yes,
but if Barack Obama wants to cut Social Security, he's taking our legs out.
The organization against George Bush was terrible in large parts. I mean, yes, it didn't happen with Social Security like he wanted it to happen, but in so many other fronts, it was a disaster.
Well, then 2008 happened, 2006, and then 2008 happened, and then Barack Obama could have done a lot of things he should have done.
You're right.
He could have broken up the banks. He knew he should have. He didn't. He could have fixed the housing market by buying back people's mortgages and just what FDR did. He didn't do any of that stuff.